Welcome to the Chicago Bears Podcast, a presentation of ESPN Chicago, Chicago's home for sports. Here's your host, Pat, the designer.
Bear down, Bears fans. We are back in the building for another week of the Chicago Bears podcast. Pat the designer, Lance Briggs, and we are doing something special over the next few weeks of the offseason, covering each team division in our division by week. This week, ladies and gentlemen, the most hated week in football. Packer week. Lance Briggs in the building to tell us all about this rivalry. Gotta love it. We'll be covering each one of them by week, man, but this is the most important one. Y'all already know what it is out here. We don't do cheese out here. We don't do cheese out here. Stop.
Not the stinky cheese.
Not the stinky cheese. We don't mess with that, man. It's actually interesting, though. By the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. First things first, Lance, how you feeling today, brother?
I'm feeling all right. Allergies have been kicking my butt lately, but they can't keep a good brother down, you know? I keep chugging along. All right, man. Emergency and ginger ale, brother. That's the combination that you got to do a little bit there. And, dude, I found this out. First off, my mom just used to make me drink emergency with water. I didn't know, like, it was okay to just mix it with juice. Orange juice with the emergency make it taste a lot better. So, little trick there to get you through it. I got to ask you about this, though, Lance, as we're getting this thing off and running. Let's just jump into this because the Bears have a week 1 game versus the Green Bay Packers. Yes.
You guys had a very good week 1 game versus the Green Bay Packers in your 2006 season. Shout out Alex Brown getting the game. No, that wasn't that one. That was a different one there. Actually, this one, y'all just destroyed them. You handed Brett Favre his first ever shutout in his 16-year at that point career.
Yes.
What is the mindset going into a week 1 game, not just versus an opponent, versus the Green Bay Packers?
It's a statement game. You know, you get to open up against your bitter rivals. Yeah. And you get to send the world a message. You know, you tell them who we are, you know, and you do it while beating your rivals. So I can't think of a better start to the season for the Bears, better opportunity for them to go out and show us, you know, who the Bears of 2023 are going to be, and put 2022 in the past behind and put the present in the forefront.
What did dominating that game do for y'all that season that you think could translate kind of to how the Bears are going to be able to play this season? Because, I mean, this was I went back and looked at it. It was a defensive clinic. Like, my God, y'all were absolutely the monsters of the midway week 1 on that.
Look, there are some interesting things that happened that game, and I don't know if you can see it, you know, but I have a mark. There's a mark somewhere here right there on my neck, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it's a cleat. All right, that's a cleat from Tommy Harris. Okay, so let me say there's a few things that happened that game. Okay, number one. All right. It was one of the funnest sacks I've ever had. Yeah. Okay. So Brett Favre goes back and he trips and falls, hits on the ground. There's just this big opening of the sea right there where I see him, and you have on one side you have Wale Agunlie that's fighting, and Alex Brown that are fighting tooth and nail to run up there to try to get that sack. And as that deal opens up, I'd run in. I touch him with one finger and run off the field, and I get the sack. So that was
that's the easiest sack of your career, right there.
Easiest sack of my career, right? So right before half, it's like a 3rd and short or 4th and short situation, and in practice the previous week, we worked on some short yardage situations, and our coach told our defensive line, listen, whatever you do, don't jump. We have guys behind us. We want push. We want push, you know? So as I start creeping up to the line of scrimmage before the snap of the ball, as soon as the ball is snapped, Tommy jumps over tries to jump over the center. And when he does, he whips his leg back and kicks me right in the throat, like right kind of all in this area right here. I thought he had punctured me. Okay. I thought he punctured me. I'm rolling around on the ground.
Yeah.
I thought I broke something, and I'm rolling around the ground, and I ended up they took me off the field, and it just so happened it was halftime, and I had to get x-rays, and I had to get all kinds of stuff going on, and of course I didn't know exactly what had happened until we watched the whole thing as a defensive team.
Yeah.
And Tommy, he sits in the defensive room, he sits in front of me. So as everything's going and we're watching, I have my hands kind of like this because I want to find out what happened to me. And as we're watching, Tommy leans back and he taps me. He was like, "I'm sorry about that, buddy." I'm like, "You should be sorry." All right.
Can you just throw out "that's my bad" on that lip? My bad. If you win the game, you can, right? If you win the game, you can.
If you win the game, right. And we did it.
Let me ask you this, right? Because from the defensive mindset, that game started off. Everybody throughout the week talking about how conservative the Bears' offense is going to be. How they're probably going to take their time. This is, I believe, is Rex's. He had been injured up to that point. So this is kind of his real first serious NFL Bears-Packers action, I believe. And first play, drops back, boom, deep pass to Bernard Berrien, touchdown. 49 yards. How does that make your life as a defense easier when the offense comes out that aggressive early in the game? You get the touchdown. You're up 7-0 to start this thing off. Now you get to go. How does that make your life easier? And do you think that that's what this Bears team probably is going to need to do week 1 versus the Packers this season?
Whenever your offense can put up quick points, it's always a positive. Defensively, though, you always want to start the game because you want to set the tone. You want to set the tone. You want to get out there. You want to have a three and out, take away, get the ball back to their offense with the short field or score, and then go into halftime and allow our offense to come out again and receive the ball regardless of whatever the situation is. So, but whenever our offense, or special teams for that matter, having Devin Hester out there. We can get a fast or quick 6. That's always positive, and that's always momentum shifting for us.
Yeah, it was funny too because that is the first taste all Bears fans got of what Devin Hester could do. That was his first punt return. Well, what's going through your mind when you see that the first time you see Devin Hester flying through the Windy City Flyer, as he's been dubbed here? What's going through your mind the first time you see him? Like, oh, we got something with this kid.
Oh, everyone knew we had something when he got drafted, when he was drafted, watching him at Miami and doing the things that he did. And now he's with the Bears and we have Dave Toes, who's arguably one of the greatest special teams coaches, in the NFL. And you have a guy that is special. So now the other 10 guys are going to do their best to get this guy into the end zone. So it was fun to watch because we knew that this was the beginning. This was just the beginning, and we're going to see a whole lot more of this.
Man, it's so I like going back and looking at some of those games. It's just the pure domination that the defense had at every level. Like, I mean, when I'll ask you this, when it comes to hitting quarterbacks, right? You talked about getting a sack in that game. Your second game that they had on here where you guys also dominated in those early 2000s, 2008, coldest game in history. By the way,
yes,
I remember that. I'm sure you do. You still got a little chill on that one, don't you?
Yes.
You got a QB hit.
Yes,
you got credited for a QB hit in that game. When hitting quarterbacks, does it feel a little bit better when you hit a Packers quarterback? Is it a little bit sweeter, or is it all just kind of the same? Is it, you know what I mean? Because
no, you know what? It's definitely sweeter when it's a Favre or it's a Rodgers or Brady or a Manning, Drew Brees. If you, let's say you get a sack, like sacks are special regardless, but a sack in the preseason where probably not going to talk about. We probably wouldn't talk about it on this podcast. We probably wouldn't talk about it in week 10 and week 11.
Show out.
Okay?
You give me 6 sacks in a preseason game, I'm like, all right, we got to have a conversation about this.
Right. And so it's a sack during the season, and especially with a named quarterback, that's a story that you can be able to tell for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's so funny for me being the fan growing up at that time, watching these games. It's just like, man, like, how do you just keep the mentality? And that was, I believe it was 2 degrees that day and a negative 13-degree wind chill. How do you keep the focus? How do you keep the attack? What was your trick to
you want to focus on the focus is try not to fall on this frozen tundra that we have here in Chicago. That the ground was hard. It was painful when you fell. And I just remember going in to tackle a guy, and we were probably 10 yards away from the sideline. And, we're fighting. I don't want him to gain a yard. He's trying to fight to gain a yard, but we fight and stand up all the way until we get to the sideline. And it was just, and as much as he's trying to gain a yard and I'm trying to keep him from gaining a yard, I think, internally we both knew we didn't want to hit that ground.
Y'all both was like, hey, respect. Respect. Hey, you keep going left. I'm gonna keep going left.
Right.
We're gonna make it look good, baby. We're gonna make it look good out here. When you're looking at, if you had to give one thing from all of your matchups with the Packers, mentality going into the Packers, let's say you're giving the pep talk going into this week 1 game for the Chicago Bears. What's the one thing you're saying about this game that you would tell this Chicago Bears team heading into week 1?
I would say, be sharp during the week. Your game plan, the things that your coaches want to implement. When you have your Wednesday practice, you have your Thursday practice, you have your Friday practice. Wednesday's going to be first and second down. Thursday's going to be third down and blitz. So when you go over everything in the meetings and the walkthroughs, and then you get out to the practice field, just be sharp. Don't have it where it's a mistake and you have to redo that play. The less you have to redo, the sharper you are, the more on top of what you have to do in preparing for your opponent. And Friday is usually review and special situations. And by the time you get to Friday, you should be sharp and alert on everything that you need for that game. So when Sunday comes along, you're ready. You know that you're ready. You know that in practice, there weren't redos during practice because you knew what you were supposed to do each time. So the sharper you are going into Sunday, the more comfortable that you'll be with playing. No matter what, you're ready.
When you look at this Packers team coming in, what's your estimation of the little bit that we've seen of Jordan Love to this point? You think he's going to come out even more ready? You think he's actually got? I mean, like, I haven't seen a ton of times where like it's the Aaron Rodgers where a guy sits this long and he just turns into a superstar the time he finally gets on the field. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I shouldn't say we haven't seen that. We saw that early in the NFL, stuff like that. But like in recent history, we don't see that a ton where that guy's usually, if you're good enough because of how much the contracts are now, they try to get you in there. What's your estimation so far of Jordan Love?
Hard to say. It's too early. And even if he comes out week 1 and looks good, there isn't enough consistency to make a judgment call on Jordan Love at this point. He's got a long road, to prove that he is the guy. He's following some extremely large footsteps, behind Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. So for him, I think the focus for them is to be as balanced as possible. If you can run the ball, you extremely help him out. You help him out extremely if you can run the ball and have success running the ball with the play action and not putting a lot of pressure on him to beat you with his arm.
Yeah, that pressure that I don't think people, and you can speak to that because being a linebacker on the Chicago Bears, right? We're known for the defense, known for our linebackers, things like that. What is that pressure like when you've seen the guys before you? You know the names of the guys before you who have been dominating in that system, and then you have to step in and pick up that mantle and keep that persona of what this team was, what this team is on your shoulders now. What's that pressure like?
Well, I think it's there's a lot of outside noise, and how good are you at shutting out the outside noise and focusing on one play at a time. I got to go out here, and when I get this first snap, I have to win this snap. The best I can. I do the best I can to win this snap, and then win, lose, or draw on that snap, I have another snap coming up. So it's about the very next play. And it's a numbers game. So if I come out this game, my focus is to win more than I lose. In saying, if it's a numbers game and I win more times than I've lost, then that's a positive. That's a positive. There's a lot of positivity there, and a lot of positive notes that our coaches can build on moving into the next week. So I think the pressure it really it affects everybody differently, pressure, it either busts pipes or it makes diamonds. So, you have to decide, if you're going to feel the pressure, you're going to apply it.
Did you feel that when you started playing here, when it was, okay, we've had, Singletary, we've had Butkus, we've had, you can go down the list of players that have been on the defensive side. Did you feel that pressure when you came in as a defensive player on the Bears?
I mean, did I feel pressure? I definitely felt pressure, but my focus, honestly, Pat, I was so focused on defeating this stigma or the expectation that they had for me, saying that they thought I would possibly be a starter on special teams, and it was just it infuriated me, man, and I so every day that I went out there, it was just, it was balls to the wall, and I'm flying to the ball, hitting everything, moving and all this good stuff until, I was able to prove to them that, hey, we got to get this kid on the field, so there wasn't time to think about, the linebackers that came before, right now I have to go out and I have to show every day prove every day that I'm worth it. I'm worth my weight in gold.
Was that your Mel Kiper? Is that what Mel said about you? that was the Mel Kiper report on you coming out of college, dog? Did you go be a special team starter?
No, that's what the Bears had on the board. They had the Bears had on the board in the linebacker room. And of course, your Urlacher's in the room, so they have this board and it has Hall of Famer, Pro Bowl, starter on defense, starter on special teams, and make the squad. I think that was the only one that was under what they thought I was, and of course they were like, well, this is Urlacher, and when it got to special teams, they're like, Briggs, if you work hard, you think this is where you can be on this team. This is the level that you're looking for. Yeah. And then under that was the last one, which was make the team. So it was, I felt, I see how you feel about me. Now I got to go and show you how I feel about myself.
That's what I love to hear on that. The confident, man, I'm going to tell you this right now. The Lance Briggs confidence is unmatched. They need to package that up, put that in the drinks so that they can, you can make some money off of that, bro.
Add it to some Prime.
Hey, add it to some
Prime these days.
Hey, we need a sponsor out here, Prime. Let me ask you this, Lance, as we keep this thing going. By the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Chicago Bears podcast, Pat the Designer, Lance Briggs, on a Monday, every Monday. Y'all already know how we do. Heading into the season, this is going to be bananas. But this is Packers week. We got to break down some of the best moments that you have had. Lance, what is your favorite moment playing against the Green Bay Packers?
I have a few. However, I will say my first ever interception was my first game against the Packers. I took a pick. Brett Favre threw the ball up in the air in a Brett Favre fashion, not knowing where it's going to land. And I did a dead sprint for it, tried to catch that ball. I caught it, and I scored my first NFL touchdown with that interception. So I will never forget it. Thank you, Brett Favre. And it happened in Lambeau. So that made it even extra special. However, we did lose that game.
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was picking out the games that we had some successes in. There's some stretches there. You know what I mean? There's some stretches. Y'all did, but it's funny because like Lovey came in with the mindset of we're gonna win and we're gonna beat the Packers. Yep. And you can really see that, right? Like every coach comes in and says that, but you can see that was a real focus. Was practices different those weeks for y'all? Was he going harder those weeks for y'all? Because I mean, like you can, at least in the win-loss column at a minimum, you can absolutely tell that like these had a higher importance.
No, I mean, you don't go harder, during that week. It's just like saying, oh man, it's Super Bowl week. You guys went harder that week. No, we didn't go harder. We were just sharp. Yeah. We were sharp, and there were things that we had to show. And just the way I kind of told you about being practices during the week, it's the practices where you have to redo a play over and over and over. And you're like, man, we may have to throw this out because we don't know if we can get it. Yeah. But it's showing everybody how sharp we are. Everybody's on top of everything that our coaches throw at us throughout the week. And when you do that, you keep everything in your playbook. We know we're prepared. We know we're ready. So during Packer week, it's an emphasis on everybody be sharp. Be sharp or you show us that we're ready to play these Packers. And that's what it was.
Who's the your favorite Packer that you've ever laid a boom on?
Favorite Packer would probably be my college teammate, Andre Thurman. And Andre was playing for the Packers. Shoot, I forget what year it was, but we joked around about this not too long ago. They had us backed up near the red zone, and Andre was in the slot, so I was out over the slot. He ended up getting like a quick little bubble screen, and it was me and him. I was the only guy stopping him to get in the end zone. He put a nice little move on me, and I reached out, and I kid you not, I reached out with one finger like this here, and I latched on to his jersey, right? I latched on his jersey, so for about 2 seconds, he's trying to wrench himself free to get to the end zone, and I'm telling you, I'm holding him with this one finger right here until all the rest of the Bears show up, boom, 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 we get them down. Yeah. And on the way back to the huddle, I mean, it was one of the evilest looks that I've ever gotten from a guy on the football field, and it was like, dang, he was like, dang, Briggs, we can't. I said, look, I'm just doing my job. It's nothing personal.
I just love it that you were able to hold him with one finger. Thurman, 5'11", 190 pounds. So
yes, yeah.
Strong
so
finger.
Listen. Me and him, we were the same recruiting class coming into Arizona. Yeah. So he's one of my best friends, man. I've known him for a long time. And so and we get into it. We'll get into it about stuff like this because he's got some Packer pride. But I still say to this day, I'm like, man, it's crazy that I was able to tackle you with one finger. Like I've never done that before.
That's such a flex. It's like, come on,
it is.
Man. Come on, man. You want to talk about strength out here, bro?
Right.
That is. I'm not gonna say that's up there on the same level as Kobe's 81, but that's like whenever Kobe would see, rest in peace, whatever see Jalen Rose, like it's just like, come on, Jalen. 81, bro. Like you think you just got to walk past him and just hold the finger.
Right. Or if you're sitting at the table, I just start bouncing my finger toward him like this.
The Kimbe. Just the Kimbe. Oh man. It's such a, what do you think that this rivalry in your estimation, when you're putting that jersey on, what does this rivalry really mean to the players that are in the building? Because for the fans, we know what it is, right? Like you see Packers fans, Bears fans go at it all the time over the most minuscule thing, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl, and then we always come back with, yeah, he got the same amount of Super Bowl appearances as Rex Grossman, same amount of NFC championships. Yeah, I mean, like, what does it mean for the players when you're putting a jersey on, getting ready for that week? Is it a little bit different feeling when you're running out onto the field, especially, right? This is at Soldier. This is week one at Soldier. That was week one at Lambeau then.
Right. I mean, you always feel it. You feel the electricity when you come out of the tunnel. But, you know, I think it's most reflective when you are in the city. You know, it's in the city because the pulse of the Bears, you can feel it in the city. When the Bears win, the city's on a high. When the Bears lose, the city is depressed, you know. And you take the Packers game, you know, the Bears come out, they have a good showing, they win this game. The city is just on a different level, you know, and you can feel it. It's everywhere that you go, you know, the gas station, to the restaurants, to the grocery stores. Everybody, you can feel it. They're talking about it. Everybody is excited. You know, we beat those Packers, this and that. And so I think for the players, you know, it's another football game, but the effect of that football game is what you'll see the most, you know. And so during the week, you're out at Hollis Hall, you know, you're amongst your other teammates and stuff like that. So some of the stuff you're not, you know, you hear it this and you hear that. But when you go home after you leave work, you go to the grocery store and somebody's talking about it, you know, and they're like, good luck this week. And then when you win that big game and you're getting high fives and you can see how the city is responding to it. That's what I think when you feel it the most.
So you eat free when y'all win, and when you lose, they charge you double. Is that what you're saying? That's how they doing y'all out here, man.
Now, no one's ever charged me double. No one's ever charged me double, but I've been to a few kind restaurants and whatnot that have taken care of some guys along the way.
What's your best going up the Lambeau story, man? Spending time in Lambeau outside of being just on the field. What's your best Lambeau story?
My buds came out to Chicago, and I remember renting a RV. We were renting an RV, and you know, it was one of those deals where I talked to Lovey and asked him if I can ride back with my family afterwards, you know, and he said no problem. Apparently on the way to the game, two of my bigger friends got into a one-on-one in the middle of the RV. You know, obviously they're all, all these football players, you know, one was an offensive lineman, one was a defensive lineman. And so they're having a one-on-one and they end up breaking the table. Right. So after we played this game, right, we played the game and all this, you know, and whatever, the hoopla and, you know, and it's time to go home. I'm walking to the RV and, you know, one of my buds like, hey, something happened. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean if something happened? You know, I rented an RV. You guys, everybody came up, right? Everybody made it. Yeah. Well, Reggie and DK, they got into a one-on-one. They challenged each other and they took out the table.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me they doing Oklahoma drills in the RV?
On the table? I'm like, wait a minute. Why? First of all, because we're on the RV and now it's scolding moment. I'm scolding everybody, you know? And I'm like, first of all, fellas, you know that this RV is rented. It's rented. All right. I was like, why? At what point did you not think to maybe if we're going to do one-on-ones, stop the RV, go outside? All right. Like you had to do it while you're in the RV, you know, like
driving.
That makes sense. You know, they ended up fixing it. And everything. But it was, it took a little steam off of the game.
It's just I'm trying to imagine. First off, what we got size wise on this RV? We doing full Oklahoma drills.
Oh yeah. Yes. Come on, guys. Come on. Respect the RV,
Respect
guys.
the RV. You gotta respect the RV. Oh God, I love it, man. I love it. What's your favorite spot to go to up there, Lance? Did y'all have a certain restaurant that y'all always frequented up there where they took good care of y'all?
In Appleton? Come on, man. I think there's only Lombardi Steakhouse. You know, we don't. It's one of the places that you stay in the hotel the whole time. You don't go anywhere in Appleton. You know, everything that you need or want to go to is right there. They have the beds with the sleep numbers on it, and you got to turn the thing around, crank it.
Oh no! Wait a minute now. Hold on now. They got the motel joints that vibrate.
The motels. Yo, yes.
Hold up now. Mm-hmm. And with the rabbit ear TV on there. You know what I mean? You got to smack it a little bit. It might. Oh yeah. Somebody might have been killed in the bathroom with a few times before one of them joints.
It's not one of the funner trips. You know, in the NFL,
I can see that. I can definitely see that. I mean, it's what's your best fan story? We heard Justin Jones, what was it, 2 weeks ago, talking about Packers fans. What's your best interaction with the Packers fan story up there?
Fans. I'll say this: the Packers fans actually probably one of the nicer fans in the NFL. You know, it's true.
Very contradictory to what Justin Jones has said.
Yeah, I mean, that's I don't know how many times he's played against them. I've played against him twice for 12 years. You know, and over my span, I've been to a lot of stadiums. I've been in Oakland. You know, I've been in Philly. I've been in a lot of these different places where it's hostile. You know, and Lambeau isn't one of those places. They have good energy. They have great energy. They love their team, but and we drive through the crowd. You know, we drive through the neighborhood. You know, to get to that stadium. But hostile, I wouldn't call their fans hostile. You know, shoot. Let me go back to I'm gonna highlight my friends. Here we go. Highlight my friends. So. One of my buds, he's headed up to Lambeau, and it's a group of us. It's a group of, well, not me, but it's a group of friends and family. And after the game, I go to greet everybody to see where everybody is. And they say, I said, hey, where's my boy? And they say, oh, he didn't make it. He's in jail. And I was like, what? What? All right. And they're like, yeah. Apparently right after opening kickoff, there was some pushing and shoving. And when they pulled him off to the side, he never came back. So I'm like, man, like you have really bad luck when it comes to going up to Lambeau.
You should stop coming. You should stop coming. I'm not gonna lie.
And he ended up having to drive up and go to see the judge and everything like that. But I'm like, man, like you were excited. You talked about this all week, and you saw the opening kickoff, and that was it.
We're gonna assume somebody said something bad about you. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, Lance Briggs garbage. He was like, nah, you're not going at my boy like that. And he took that one for you. You know, we're gonna assume that.
I mean, and which I would appreciate, but at the same time, man,
don't go to jail.
You don't miss the game. Don't go to jail.
Don't go to jail. Even if you miss the game, don't go to jail.
Yes, so you got to. That's why we say drink responsibly. All right, all right.
Hey, yeah, you gotta make sure you're doing that right, because especially on them Bears Packers games, man. Like, I mean,
especially before opening kickoff.
Yeah. Opening kickoff is it. That's when the energy's best, though, Lance. I must say, as a Bears fan myself, after opening kickoff, there's been a lot of tough moments for Bears fans in this town. I'm not gonna lie to you. The energy's best before opening kickoff. A lot.
I mean, listen. You want to talk about hostile? Like Chicago Bear fans are hostile now. You know what I mean? Like there's you're gonna find some. You're gonna see some fights in the stadium on Bears game on Sundays.
Hey,
And sometimes it's Bear fans fighting Bear fans.
Hey, sometimes you got to, man. That's what Bears do. You know what I mean? Bears fight. We chest up, show some teeth, and you get up out of there.
Try not to go to jail.
You try not to go to jail. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I mean, this is going to be such an interesting season. It starts off with the Packers game. I'm so excited for that. Did that kind of set a tone for y'all when y'all end up getting that big win 06? Dominated.
Absolutely.
Did that set a tone for your team moving forward the rest of that season?
It did. It did. I mean, we wanted to make a statement. We knew we had the team to be able to do that, but that really set the table for that 2006 season. We were coming off that playoff loss to Carolina. We're coming off that playoff loss to Carolina, but the mood in Hollis Hall was a super positive one. Hey, we fell short, but we won't fall short next year. And rolling right into that Packers game was proof enough that we were ready.
Were y'all excited when y'all saw that week one? Where it was like, oh yeah, that's what we needed right there.
Absolutely. Listen, it didn't matter who they were going to put it there. We were going to blow them out. It didn't matter. We were going to. Somebody was going to get that message.
Hey, it was literally. I was rewatching the highlights earlier coming in when I was setting the show up and stuff like that, and I was like, it was a play where like Brett was just at the end of it. He's just looking around, just like what is happening right now? Yeah. And it was that much of a defensive clinic. Like you guys had his number that day, and I mean, you could tell the energy from it. I don't know if I could tell at that point that like y'all were going to go on to be in the Super Bowl that season, but the energy from the team, the vibe of the team, how literally it was like all week it was, they're going to be conservative offensively. They're going, boom, Rex Grossman, deep shot down the field.
Well, now remember this. We lost every preseason game that year. Okay.
Yeah, so that's true.
This is question marks, and people were, saying this and that. And that was kind of the beginning of the Cardinals Monday night Denny Green blow up because we played them the third game of the preseason and they smacked us around, and I remember leaving that field like, dang, the Cardinals are good, they're good, right? We'll see them. I think they should make a run for the playoffs. That's the team I think we should see in the playoffs. Yeah. And it didn't go that way for them, but for us losing all those preseason games, I mean, all over the paper, it's the Bears lose. They go 0-4 in the preseason. I mean, is this really a Super Bowl team? And for us, it was always, listen, that stuff doesn't matter. Yeah. And then we go in, and we do what we do that year and go into the Super Bowl. So at the end of the day, like when I see some of these teams where it's they don't win these games in the preseason, it's preseason does not count. You're prepping, you're getting prepared for the season, and it's not an indication of what your season success.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, walk us through that. What is the because of course there's going to be some emphasis on the preseason, right? Like, but how much of it is actually like, this is what we're actually going to do, this is stuff we're actually working on? Because we always hear they going out there with vanilla stuff, they going out there with basic stuff, they just trying to get some exercise in, like, you know what I mean? Like, how much of it is actually like, we need this for it to work?
Listen, it depends on who you are. Okay, now we go out to where do we go? We went out to San Diego, I believe, the year after the Super Bowl, or it was a couple years after, and we played them in the preseason. And it was the first preseason game, and Ron Rivera is the D coordinator for San Diego. Right. He blitzed 23 times out of 26 plays that we had, or something like that. 24 or 25 plays we played, and I remember coming off, and this is supposed to be a preseason is supposed to be vanilla, just your fundamental stuff.
Yeah.
But it might have been a little emotional. There might be a little emotions there. And you blitz 23 out of 26 plays.
So I always think about that. Well, I guess that's when you can get away with it, right? It's just like, no, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna make this happen. Like that's when you can get away with it.
Getting after it. There's things that you want to see. There's things that you want to see. There's situations you want to see your players go through certain situations.
Yeah.
And how they respond. So it's when you say vanilla, yeah, it's a lot of your fundamental, your base stuff, but it's still stuff that you'll see during the season.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the stuff that without the game planning of hey, these first 15 plays against this team that we're playing, this is how we're going to attack them. But defensively, there's a lot that you want to see, especially for the guys that you haven't seen. There's guys on your team that you've seen. Okay, just give me a snippet of showing me how you react and you're responding to game-like situations. And then let's get you out. I want to put these guys in so I can see as many game-like situations as possible, with these guys, see how they respond to it. So it's getting all of that work. Sometimes you get 60% of it for a lot of those guys, and then you get the opportunity for the second and third game where you can get all the situations and see how they respond and see if these guys are the guys we need to keep on this team or not.
Do you feel like it's needed? Do you feel like, right, like because they've taken one away now, and I know I've heard coaches say this. I've heard, some players who went through 4 preseason games where they're like, you kind of go through that first week of the actual season still kind of like trying to get used to what's actually happening. You're trying to get yourself into, what the real speed of the season is going to be. Do you think that you need as many preseason games? Are you in favor of lessening the preseason games because less football, now that they've added a 17th week, an 18th week is probably coming at some point because the NFL realizes that there's a lot of money in these football games and they're trying to add as many as possible?
Yeah, well, I'm in favor of players being healthy. Mm-hmm. I hate to see a guy lose a season off of a game that doesn't count. Yeah. And these games that don't count, there's a minimum or a maximum of which these players are getting paid, and it's a cap rate, and it's to me it's not worth the health of players. Mm-hmm. So I'm in favor of the health of the players. There are things that you do need to do scrimmage wise. You'd have to get after it and all those good things, but healthy players are more important than anything else, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. No, facts. Let's finish it out with this, Lance. Way, way, way too early Bears-Packers prediction. Why? Because it's the offseason. When you're looking at week 1 right now, how are you predicting that week is going to go for the Chicago Bears?
Well, when I look, I say Bears win. I don't know what the score is going to be, but my prediction is the Bears find a way to win.
Is this a confident win, or is this a we won that game, but we got some stuff to work on here?
Well, there's always just stuff to work on. There's always going to have to be stuff to work on. However, I am confident in the Bears winning the opening game against the Packers.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Lance Briggs predicts the Bears blow out the Packers. No, I'm just playing. That's what the blogs are going to pick up. Lance Briggs, hey, it's offseason. They looking for any nugget that they can get right now. Lance Briggs predict the Bears blow out the Packers 50-0. He didn't say that.
Nope, you didn't quote me on that.
My favorite, me and Eric have been talking about it because, during this time of year, not much to talk about. So we were like, you look on like different Reddit blogs and different stuff like that and try to get how do we build an episode around this? And it was one day where it literally said, there's nothing going on with the Bears. And that was the article. I was like, what? We don't need that. We didn't need, you could have skipped today. We didn't need that on the Tuesday.
Don't worry. It's right around the corner. All right. Hey. You won't be able, it'll be Bears nonstop.
It's going to be so much Bears happening here, man. I can't wait. We got so much stuff going on at ESPN Chicago with it. You'll be able to hear Lance on the pregame show. That's going to be a great time out here. getting his breakdown on everything Bears on that. I'll be on the post-game show. That nugget dropped last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. I mean, I get to be on the post-game show now, so we're going to have a lot of fun this season. I can't wait, man. But, hey, that's another episode of the Chicago Bears podcast, Monday edition. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, and drop a bear down if you're not if you're a Bears fan out here. You should have done it already. You should have done it like 3 hours ago. But hey, you in the building now. Might as well do it. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer, joined by Lance Briggs. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Me and Courtney Cronin. Peace.
Bear down.